Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Signal Fire. I am your host, Rob Renz, Marine Corps veteran, entrepreneur, local small business owner, joined by my two best dudes in the whole entire world, Evan, the muscle hamster Anderson, who took a very long break.
Hiatus.
It's good to see
How
you,
you
buddy.
been, buddy?
It's good to see you.
Good.
We missed you.
Yeah, I've been busy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you have going on in your life right now?
The internship is
Yep.
is dominating my existence
So
right
sassy.
now. So,
But
yeah.
really, all you're doing is cold calling.
all I do is
businesses, right?
and I love it, right? Like I love this part of the job. It's my
You're
favorite.
so good at it. You're so set up for it.
That's all I want to do.
Who could say no to this face?
all I wanna do.
Nobody. Well, that's why we have increased our capabilities with a full YouTube channel and small little social media bits, so that way more people can know Evan the way that we know Evan, Matt, and just see that sweet little muscly face.
And the bulbous,
Square jaw.
the bulbous body. It's so bulbous.
I don't think bulbous is a compliment. It's like a complimentary
He
adjective.
does say it about you a lot. though.
Bulbous.
No, it
I've had
is.
questions
Bulbous. No,
regarding-
bulbous was the lady in Great Clips yesterday, Matthew.
Yeah, Matt has a
Well,
story.
she had a very bulbous personality. She was a very mean lady.
Matt, you have two stories from yesterday that I hope that we can get to today.
Okay.
The jalapeno,
Okay.
the red hot chili
Red-
peppers that
Dude,
were
I am
in
not
your
kidding
eyes
you.
and your ears, but also the lady at Great Clips, which I think is going to be a nice little segue to intro our guest.
We need to get her hooked up with Erica.
Everybody, by the way, this is Matt Mylon. He's the third leg of the Signal Fire tripod.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Matt. It's nice to see you. Tell us what happened at Great Clips yesterday.
So I get my hair cut every like 2 weeks or so, and I'm in there getting a cut with the dude Jarvis who always cuts it. And as he's cutting my hair, there's a mom in there with her two sons that were, one was probably 4 and one was like 6. They're just off the charts, like bouncing all over the place, grabbing product off the shelf, dropping it. And the mom's being somewhat violent, like doing the whole grab thing, like, I will take you outside and beat you. And she was saying it loud. You know, we're like, oh. Well, fine. The kids keep bouncing off the walls, and Jarvis goes over and says, excuse me, I need you to sit over there, telling one of the kids, because he almost like broke this glass shelf. Mom comes off the chart at him saying, you don't talk to my kid like that. Then she starts like, she grabs like this little display sign off the counter and like hits it with her hand, and it goes flying across the floor. And then he's telling her to leave, my stylist, and she's cussing up a storm like in front of her kids. And then finally, as he like is trying to walk her to the front door without touching her, and he's like pointing at the door, she like full on slaps his hand. She hit him twice. She like slapped his hand and did something else, and I just immediately got up and I'm like, you need to go. And she's like, not gonna go. I'm like, no, you need to go. And then I just grabbed her wrist, did a reverse wrist lock, and just walked her out.
You went full cop.
I did.
Full Officer Mylot.
Yeah. Hey, Matt,
Yeah.
what would you have cited her for if you were still carrying a badge? What would be would that
Okay,
be
so
assault?
well, it would be battery because she
Okay.
made contact with
Battery,
him. Vandalism because when she knocked the signs off the counter, and then refusal to leave a place of business by the business operator. That's trespassing. So I mean, alone you had simple battery, vandalism, trespassing, and if you really wanted to work the California Penal Code, we had I think it was 415 subsection C, which is using insightful words to cause violence.
That sounds very California.
That's very Californian. Your words hurt me. Now you're going.
Well,
to
it's like
jail.
it's like the caveat I think they had in the penal code for like when people use like racial slurs, because you know
Yeah.
how a racial slur will have much more of a poignant effect on somebody than calling you a an
Bimbo.
asshole
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that happened, and then we made some chicken chili last night, and I cut one of my freshly picked.
Save the chili pepper story for later. I just want to focus on
Yeah,
the
you're right.
angry
It's too
lady at Great Clips, right?
Right.
Shout out to Jarvis for keeping us cool during all of that, right?
Dude, the poor guy, man. The poor guy, his hands were shaking so bad after this whole thing went down because he still had to finish. And the hands were just bouncing all over the side of my head. I was like, oh,
yeah,
Jarvis.
your fade's
Breathe,
looking a
bro.
little
That's why you look.
high
That's
on
why
the
you look
left
like a
and a little
proud
low on
boy
the right.
today. Yeah.
Don't call me that. It's embarrassing.
Oh my goodness, we should probably introduce our guest. Usually it takes us like 5 to 7 minutes.
Well, we introduced her. We just haven't brought her into the combo.
We should let her use her own voice. What do you think? What do you make of that story of the lady at Great Clips?
She just caused trauma to her own children.
Yeah.
Probably scarred them for their lives, and they'll have something else that they'd probably need to discuss later.
Do you suppose that is rooted in some of her own traumatic
Oh,
experiences?
absolutely.
Oh, I could have made some guesstimations about this lady's past.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What-
Let's just say her boys look like they came from two very different males.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So she said that she had 2 boys?
Yeah.
Okay. This is why I love being a girl dad. because mine don't do that.
Yeah, but I didn't do that as a kid either. That was because, my parents had an iron fist.
You know what they say, in like a lamb, out like a lion. So if you don't deal with it now, you got to deal with it when they're
You deal with it later.
teenagers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I'll be
provocative. I
honest.
know it.
Coming from my own perspective, I was very sassy.
Yeah.
So girls, they'll bite back.
Oh, I know. You should meet my daughters. They hurt me.
They're
Every single
biters.
day with their
They're
words.
biters.
But Olivia,
Oh yeah, that's a
they
rough
don't
one.
physically bite.
Oh no,
No?
no, but they're biters.
I got to tell you a story. I'll tell you a story off the air because Maddie will watch. No, I'll just tell it now. You remember that video I took of you and Madeline? You kept taking her pacifier.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to watch that every day now. She's like, Evan pacifier.
I'm her favorite.
Evan Bippo. This is what she calls it. She calls it her
Oh.
Bippo. Yeah. So we sit there and we watch Evan take away Madeline's pacifier for a good 30 minutes.
I'm her favorite.
On some days. She does love you. She does love you. Well, so Erica, tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do.
Well, I have a very prestigious background in a lot of things.
Okay.
I kind of am a jack of all trades. I went to art school back in Wisconsin, and then I decided I wanted to pick up and leave. Yes.
We're huge. We're huge in Wisconsin.
Are you?
Oh, yeah. Big time. Big time.
Yeah, I lived there for most of my life, and I've been here about 8 years. So I transitioned really into nursing
Okay.
when I moved here, and I was in the cardiovascular ICU for 4 years. And that was a very emotional, stressful, and exhilarating time. Had a lot of ups and downs. And I really enjoyed helping people in that aspect anyways. From there, I decided I got kind of tired of doing aftercare after people would have to go through surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So I transitioned more into fitness so I could explain preventive care and get people on an early set track to get healthy with their lives beforehand instead of having to come get surgery later because your arteries are clogged or whatever else is going on. And from there, I really realized that I loved fitness. It's a huge part of my background, even in childhood. But I realized I was more of a cheerleader or a hype woman for people to understand it's more about your mindset and to explain, every little thing comes from every thought in your mind and your soul. And you got to make your mind a better place to be in than being negative. So you can do literally anything from the first thought that you do when you wake up in the morning. So that's where I really transitioned into my life coaching. And I really love to just help people in general. I think I've been a natural born healer and a light for a lot of people. And that's just where I navigate my gifts.
Would you consider yourself to be a hippie?
Well, I went to art school and people thought that back then. I think I've gone through a lot of different phases.
She doesn't smell like a hippie.
She's pretty clean, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
You know,
okay. I
you can always-
consider myself to be a hippie.
You can always tell by the feet.
I feel like
Yeah, let's
I actually have a story about that. Actually, I used to only go to
Birkenstock, so she's not full
right
on hippie.
now. I think it was like early college. I would show up to like every concert ever, not wearing shoes, and I actually had like someone come and do a video and an article on me about why I was not wearing shoes at these concerts.
Really?
Because they were going around like checking out the different footwear people would wear, and they're like, "Why are you not wearing shoes?" And I was like, "Because I'm grounding." I'm like, "Who needs shoes? Like, you're just being in with the earth." Yeah.
Oh, that's great. What were the concerts?
Oh, I don't even
for-
remember. Back then, it was probably like all
Yes, you
Summerfest,
do. Yes, you
DMV.
Widespread.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to a few Widespread back
Did
then.
you go to Widespread here in
I
Wilmington?
did, but I watched it by boat, so it was
Yeah,
a way
so
better experience.
I'm actually glad that you did that because we had talked about doing it because Matt has a boat. I have a boat. My boat's on a wet slip and on a lift. Matt has to put his in at the public boat ramp. No hard feelings from Matt at all whatsoever about
Nope,
that.
I'm
But-
fine.
So the Coast Guard didn't come and shoo you away? Like
No.
they're totally cool with
They
you
didn't
going to the
care
river park
literally
amphitheater?
at all. They were like, they just kind of smiled and waved at everybody, and
Yeah.
it was probably, we stayed out there, I think we were probably one of the last boats, and they're like, "Hey, you just gotta like get out of this area because otherwise you're gonna get ashed up by all the fireworks we're about to blow off."
that's killer.
So they're like, "Just go to the other side of like over there by the water and you'll be fine." And we're like, "Cool."
Matt, can we do that for 311?
In your boat.
I'm gonna blow off my no.
I don't want firework
No,
ash
let's rent
falling.
let's rent like a Carolina skiff or something. I'm not putting my boat in the river.
Buddy, it's your parents'
Why?
50th.
there's so much trash in the river.
There's a lot of
There's
debris
a lot
in
of
the
trash.
river.
It's true.
I don't want to damage my hull.
Really big, nasty catfish.
Boat problems.
Boat problems.
There's gators there too.
There's gators?
Yeah, in the
Well, see,
river.
I'll go after some gators. I don't care about that. That would be fun. That would be fun. So the show, Widespread Panic show, was cool by boat?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I
And
really
nobody messed
enjoyed
with
it.
you?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It was a great experience.
What did the news article on you being the shoeless girl at music festivals, like, was it complimentary of you? Was it like a hit piece?
Yeah, they were just kind of like, wow, that was probably the most exotic thing. You know, people wear flip-flops or people wear cowboy boots. But this girl, she's just not wearing shoes.
She's not afraid to step in people's pee.
True.
Some of those festivals, man, the ground gets pretty
I would
gnarly.
Yeah,
never,
it does. But like,
never pay for.
I
that
don't
in my
really
entire
have
life.
a lot of cares.
Yeah.
I have a lot of worries, and I'm not a person to really get upset by emotional things. So
Okay.
I'm like, you live and you learn.
Well, you mentioned that a part of your journey was about being preventative, right? And so you were
Well, back then
you were
I wasn't
building up some
focused on
immunities,
that.
but yeah,
true.
you were doing it. Yeah, you were picking up all the good stuff
All the
off
bacteria.
the ground, and
Yeah. Well, I had my way of experience through all of that when I was in the hospital because you're exposed to so much different disease and super bugs and all the things. So you really build up an immune system.
this is why Evan never gets sick.
Yeah, I eat off the ground.
Eat off the
Yeah.
ground, eat dirt, you exercise. Mm-hmm. I didn't plan to talk about this today, but I think it's probably interesting, especially because it fits right in with your profession. But everybody's really worried about getting sick and hoping that they can go somewhere to get a pill or a shot that's going to make them feel all better when there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do
Yes.
leading up to that.
Literally.
Please.
One, eat healthier.
Okay. Matthew.
Oh, shots fired.
Matt likes Doritos.
Rob is really good at
Hey.
shots fired.
Honestly,
I like
everything in
Doritos. I don't
moderation.
eat them.
It's okay. With my background in fitness and health, I mean, they explain if you eat by color, it's better for your organs. And each item usually looks like your organs if you eat that kind of vegetable.
What does that mean?
Like, for instance,
None of my organs are green.
Yeah, none of my organs are green.
No, but the way that
hope.
the actual vegetable looks like kind of looks like a part of the organs. So like broccoli looks like different parts of your heart. I mean, everything kind of has a link to a different chapter. So if you're just eating a lot of vegetables in general, it's obviously healthy for you.
What about eggplant?
Eggplant is good.
Okay.
Again, people have different diets, right? So some people like to be vegan, some people don't. Some people
Are you vegan?
No. I love food. All types of food, it doesn't matter. I love protein.
Just
which
a
is
healthy
very
mix
healthy.
of everything.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys gave me a donut this morning, and I happily ate that donut. So it's
That
not
was
like
a good-looking donut.
I
too.
don't judge, but I've also had to help people with their emotional battles with eating, because that is a big problem in today's society of what you can eat, what you shouldn't, and people spend more time worrying about what they're putting, if they're eating, if they shouldn't eat it, and it becomes more of a disorder to even enjoy food.
We were just talking about that last night with MSGs.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
How at the end of the day, what does MSG really do to like destroy your body?
Yeah,
and
people, it's such a mental block for so many people that they think MSG is giving them
carcinogen.
headaches or giving them, whatever. But it's just a flavor enhancer. It's just a glutamic acid that improves the flavor of food. But they heard something one time or they read something one time that it gives them headaches or
Becomes
lethargy.
a psychosomatic thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Jenna
absolutely.
swears by it, man. Jenna swears by it.
By MSG, me too.
Well, no, that she gets a headache. She gets a headache if we eat
Panda
cheap,
Express?
cheap Chinese food or something. Yeah, it's always cheap Chinese food with Jenna, and she'll be like, "I got a gnarly headache. It must be the MSG." So
Yeah.
You guys
it's
battle
very,
that out.
very psychosomatic.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah. Okay, so eat healthy. Number one, preventative. And I'm gonna need a visual aid for this food that looks like my organ.
I can see when she said
I'll send you
broccoli,
one.
I pictured like alveoli in
Yeah.
your lungs,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah, that's
lost.
all I got.
That's
Yeah,
a good one.
cauliflower or broccoli might look like pieces of my lungs. I don't know what else.
Or-
You could put all my organs on a table and I wouldn't be able to tell you.
My
which is
liver, I'm
which.
sure, looks like a liver. Like if
Is
I
it
ate
healthy,
If
though?
I ate a chicken liver, then it would look like my liver.
I'm
I
out.
don't know.
out on eating any liver. I don't like it. All right, so eat healthy. What else? What are other good preventative measures?
Exercise.
Okay.
Obviously.
What kind of exercise?
I mean, you can do anything. Dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like CrossFit. Yoga. I'm going to pray that all day.
Yeah.
Mind, body, and soul. It's probably the most helpful for flexibility, stress, I mean, there's just countless things. I like to weightlift, running. I mean, there's just endless ways of exercise. Just going for a walk. I mean, that's where I really start with a lot of people, especially if you're new in fitness or just trying to be a better human for yourself. Just a few walks a day. Like, just go out, get some sun, vitamin D, using natural healing powers, going outside, going to the ocean. Why? We all live here at the beach. Like, being close to the ocean, just spending some time in nature. Do the things that are good for you.
So if you have somebody that comes to you that's a client, those are the two places you're starting? Like, let's look at your diet and let's look at your fitness level?
Yeah, and
okay.
Well, also I ask them, what does your day look like? On an average, like, how do you start your day? What are the things you're thinking about? Who are the people you surround you with? What is your work like day? Like, you just gotta, I pay attention to all of it to see, and the longer I spend time with people, the more I get to, like, see how their brains are working. Like, how are their thoughts around everything that they're doing?
Right.
And most people let's be real. Everybody kind of loves to talk about themselves.
Yes, that's why we have a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. So when I listen to
it's
someone,
not hard to ask guests to be like, hey, do you want
Yeah.
to come talk about yourself for 45 minutes to an hour?
exactly, because people are like, you just love to parade.
Yeah.
So when I listen to people, I really listen to the roots. Like, they're telling me one thing and they don't even realize it's like connected to like 7 other things that they've said that are probably blocking them or stopping them or.
Hold that thought, because I
Yeah.
want to talk about those 7 other things.
Okay.
The roots. We got to take a real quick break. But first, before we go, Matt, Evan, did you guys know that Wilmington, North Carolina was the #1 place in the entire United States for population growth during 2020?
I'd read that, yeah.
Some people have posited that the population growth can be, the timing of it, when it began, can be directly correlated for when Signal Fire Radio first went on the air.
That makes sense.
It does to me, too. I feel like more people are moving to Wilmington, North Carolina because they hear our show and they're like, I got to get close to that.
Right.
Yeah? Am I off base?
No,
No?
you're totally right. And
Right.
we single-handedly grew it. And funny how where we're all from on the West Coast is where everybody's getting the hell out of, too.
Well,
So.
if we're responsible for single-handedly increasing the population, so if you're one of the thousands of listeners that listens from all over the world and you're thinking, I need to move to Wilmington, North Carolina.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. For starters, let us know, because we'll certainly buy you a beer. But also, before you make a home purchase, you need to talk to the sponsor of Signal Fire Radio, our good buddy Garrett Huffman, the musical mortgage man. NMLS number 1778213, but #1 in our hearts. Get in touch with him. It's Garrett Huffman at loandepot.com. We're going to take a real quick break. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back on Signal Fire Radio.
There's probably 200 mortgage lenders in this town, and probably 500 real estate agents, and probably 600 insurance agents. The numbers are probably bigger than that, but there's a lot of all of us. So anytime you work in the world of sales, the question becomes, how do I differentiate myself and make myself different? And when I first started, it was right in the height of COVID, so I couldn't get out and meet anybody. So instead, what I had to do was to do video marketing. And initially, I did video marketing the way that I thought the world wanted to see me, which I work in finance, so I thought the world wanted to see me in suits and clean cut and talking about facts about mortgages. But really, that didn't do anything for me. I actually started to get a whole lot more traction when I incorporated the things that I liked, which is music, retro vibes. My son, he's pretty funny, so he's in a lot of my videos. The moniker, the musical mortgage man, because if I incorporate music in enough stuff, people will associate me with that. And my personality shines through a whole lot brighter than it did on any of the videos where I was stuffy, nervous, and just giving you rigid facts about mortgage loans. So the best way to differentiate yourself in any environment, and I think this is really big in sales, is to lean into who you are, because that audience is going to meet you right there. And it's made all the difference in the world for me.
The explosion hit. I lost consciousness. There was another soldier. He was directly under the blast. And when I was doing my check for casualties, that's when I found him. I hadn't had to see anything like that up until that point. And that is the one thing that I see on a regular basis is this kid. He was 19 years old. My name is James Rodriguez. I'm a veteran from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I support the Compassionate Care Act, Senate Bill 711. One deployment story completely changes a veteran. They don't feel like they have any other options a lot of times, and when they feel like they're alone, they have no reason to go on. The VA had me on 12 different medications, and that's exactly what I used to attempt suicide. Medical cannabis has been able to treat so many different symptoms of my PTSD. Everyone has different symptoms and different ailments. North Carolina as a whole can benefit from medical cannabis.
Welcome back to Signal Fire Radio, ladies and gentlemen. We have a fantastic conversation going with a fantastic guest, Erica Stillman, professional life coach. Is that what you...
Yes.
Yeah?
Holistic.
Holistic, professional holistic life coach.
I dig that.
Yeah, Evan, that perked you up right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, that's when she was talking about some things that sort of got me excited before we took a break. Obviously, like the roots of problems are a big deal, and you, just through your self-development, have become aware of those things, like maybe the roots of some of the things that you've dealt with. Mm-hmm. But how do you help your clients like not get upset with emotional things? How do you help to coach and develop that in people?
That is a great question. Based on each person's specific situation, I love to go through shadow work with people.
Ooh, what's that?
Yeah.
It's
Go deeper.
It's hard.
Does it
I'll be
involve
honest.
drugs?
I mean, it can if that's what's in their past. So most people learn things. We learn a lot of the things that we do between age 0 as a newborn to 7. So we were based off of your parents, what they do psychologically to you, people that are around you. You're basically just a giant little mirror image, and you're mimicking everything that you learn and see around you.
Oof.
So shadow work is usually something that you have learned, rooted in your body, rooted in your brain, and you've put it so far down in a box inside of your mind and suppressed it down so far that you don't even know that it's there. But it affects you every single day. It affects your character. It affects who you're around. It stimulates the triggers that come off from other people. So something that you don't even realize in your adult life, you could get really upset about, and you don't even know why. Why is that thing like a trigger for you? So I really go in deep with the shadow work and help people try to break out that box. So it's hard and it's tough, and you basically relive that pain. But as soon as you go through that transition, it's like it's gone. It's broke free. It's no longer like tying you down like a box to the water. Like you're not drowning anymore.
This reminds me of, so I tried out EMDR like a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Which
What does that stand for?
eye movement, blah, 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 rehabilitation, something.
Okay.
But it's kind of the same thing where like you're working with the therapist and they talk you through, and they're sourcing, they're making you like unravel this traumatic event, and they get you back in that same moment in time.
Guided therapy.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you close your eyes and you get your mind on this certain train of thought, like you're in the moment of that happening. And then you open your eyes, and then I laugh about it because it did not work on me at all. If anything, every single time I walked out of there, I was like aggro, pissed off. But I have friends that have sworn by it. So
Were there any chemical?
no, it was
chemicals
literally,
introduced
dude.
into it too as well?
Your eyes closed and the therapist is talking to you. All right, are you back in that moment when your dad's like beating you and you're like, yeah, that wasn't it. But
Yeah.
and then you open your eyes and you just go like this and you move. They move their fingers, and then they tell you close your eyes. Now, how do you feel? I'm like, I feel exactly the same as I did 5
That
minutes
sounds
ago.
hokey. That sounds like something that the VA pays for. They're like, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll send you to therapy. Here, we'll take
But
this cheap one.
I seriously have friends that I trust that it has
Helps.
been progressive for them. So
Well, I think that's kind of the point that you're making earlier. Like every client's going to be a little bit different. They'll
Yeah.
respond to certain techniques or protocols, and some will respond to other ones, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've worked a little bit with hypnotherapy too, so I've helped people
Could you
with that.
hypnotize Matt right now? Are you hypnotizing all of us?
No,
Actually?
Her voice
I
is
don't know.
hypnotic.
You tell me.
I suddenly feel like I'm having an out of body
so
experience.
relaxed.
So I don't know
Great.
if I'm hypnotized.
I know
right
you
now
got
or
you
not.
got that super like relaxing, raspy type of voice.
Oh, dude,
It's
you
just
guys saw
soothing.
me 24 minutes ago. I was spazzed out, and then we've just been sitting here with Erica, and suddenly I'm not spazzed out anymore. I'm
Well,
sorry,
good.
guys. I'm
I
sorry,
got that
yeah.
energy flow.
I love you.
You were knobbish.
I was a little knobbish. I apologize. We'll talk about that in a
Douche-ish.
deep group therapy healing session.
I
Yeah.
could help you go through that.
All right, tell us more about the hypnotherapy.
That is kind of like what you were saying, but it's more you're in your consciousness. I specifically would rather do like more of Reiki on people.
More what?
Reiki, which is more of an energy healing in sense. So when you're feeling bad or really awful in your body, I usually can actually feel when people are inflamed in areas. So it's more of like sending love and light into that area. So it helps kind of take away the pain. So I do
hold
that
on.
on people's
yeah.
How do
lives.
you do this?
Yeah, we got to unpack this. Tell us the whole procedure.
Well, it's a series of hand movements. Your eyes are usually closed. I take you through a series of breath work, and then I
Ooh,
just
you're
kind of
resonating with
feel
me.
around. Yeah.
I like free diving. Free diving's my thing. So breathe
You're into the
work.
breath work. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's kind of with everything. That's another thing I always had to explain in the fitness industry is like, you forget to breathe like often. And you're like, no, like you actually need to breathe because that's what's going to help release the oxygen, get out the carbon. Like you got to go through this series of slowing down the heart rate, slowing down the organs and being able to just like come into a safe space. And I mean, it's kind of the same with walking. Like you're anxious, and then all of a sudden you're calm. And you just got to help yourself get there.
I just got calm with when she said that.
I
was just
read
like,
I read a book recently called Breath by James Nestor. Have you read it?
Yeah, I have.
So it was so fascinating
I read
to
that
me
one.
because it talked about like how we have basically evolved these really big brains that have essentially messed up in everything else in our bodies, right? 'Cause, like it's altered our craniofacial structure so much that it changes the way we breathe. And you guys can attest to this. There's an abundance of mouth breathers in the world, right? But they say that mouth breathing
Matt
is like
told us about one at the
it's like
beginning
the
of the show.
cause of so many issues. Do you notice that a lot with your clients? And if so, like how do you help address these breathing problems because it is the root of a lot of issues?
Well, this is a secret I'm going to share, but I pay attention at the moment someone's sitting with me. I pay attention to how they're sitting, their body structure, their movements, their breath.
Have you been analyzing us?
Yeah,
you should be
Maybe.
a profiler.
she was acting so innocent while she was eating that donut.
Yeah.
I was like
That's why
watching
she was so
darting
quiet
glances
over
all
here,
over
yeah.
the room.
Yeah,
I
for
was taking
real.
notes.
She
I
said that, and all
am.
three of us started adjusting how we're sitting. We're
Wait a
like,
second.
what are you talking about? I'm
a very
fine.
well put together and influential member of our community.
I've always been very in tune, and I've been very aware of my surroundings. So, like, I'll notice someone, they're like, how did you even see that? I'm like, oh, I saw that. I see way more than I should. Like, you know, when your mom explains, like, you don't understand why your mom knows what you're doing and you always think your mom has eyes in the back of her head. I think I have eyes, like, everywhere. I'm like,
You would make a great cop.
probably.
With all your nonverbal indicators on people's posture and then the vibe they're putting off. And
Without worrying about embarrassing us, what was one thing you noticed from the moment you walked in?
No, please
Ooh.
don't not worry about embarrassing.
Yeah, exactly.
us.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Don't worry
send
about
it. Full
Yeah,
send.
Send it. Full send.
Well, when I got in here, you had a lot of, I would say, in a polite way,
Yeah.
the aura you were giving off was very
Pungent.
energetic,
Very loose butthole.
angry.
it was pungent.
it was a little like raw,
I get so-
sour.
I get so stressed out on these days.
How can you not? I mean,
know.
you got the lights, the
know.
cameras, the action. People are. I mean, you're
Well,
already telling me get in close to the camera.
Yeah,
You're like,
I regularly have issues with control, and this is so important to me.
I can tell.
This is so important to me because, like, so the other night I shared with these guys, like, I got an unsolicited message from somebody who's going through military transition right now. Never heard of this person, don't know this person, and we've gotten it on numerous occasions where they're like, you have this little podcast, this little goofy thing that we're doing has changed my life for the better. And so when you have that sort of mantle, that type of responsibility, it for me, it's like we have to execute perfectly each and every time. So in that situation, if you were my life coach and you understand like how important this is to me and what it means to me, but I don't want to be in the red when I'm getting in here and making our guests feel
Yeah.
uncomfortable or anybody that doesn't have as much, interpersonal and self-awareness as you, what would you recommend for me?
Well, to be fair, I wasn't uncomfortable.
No, I know you weren't.
I could tell your energies, and I knew that's exactly what it was. Often, I have a lot of clients that have that problem with feeling the need of control of everything. And I take it down step by step. So everything I do and I go through people, it's a baby step. And it starts with where your thought is coming from. So you just explained that person, I feel like I have to perform. So if you just like calm that down and take a space when you're in that motion and be like, oh, I'm starting to feel this anxiety or this anxious come on, and take a breath.
Yeah.
Slow down, put your feet on the ground, and then think, oh, like I can take care of this situation. It's fine. It's really not as stressful as it needs to be. And actually, the calmer I am, the easier this process and the flow is going to work.
Matt did a fun little hand gesture behind you.
Yeah, take a breath of something.
He said he indicated the smoke some marijuana.
I mean, you can if you need.
It's a great segue, and it's a great question, because then it also gives me the opportunity to pitch our new T-shirts. Obviously, there are going to be people who need some chemical assistance in these things. What's your take on that? Because my guess
agree.
is you're going to be like, hey, do earth stuff before you go get
Before you do
OPT.
DMT.
100%.
SSRI.
You were at
Yes.
widespread, so
Yeah, widespread. Not wearing shoes.
No,
Come on.
I was on the boat. I wasn't going to wear shoes
Yeah, you're going to
anyway.
wear shoes on a boat. That's just not practical.
unless it's a yacht, then it's
Yeah.
very appropriate.
Then you wear boat shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sperry's.
the Sperry's.
So you're pro that.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I'm definitely a pro of marijuana.
She's
I'm a
like,
pro of
I am a
psychedelics.
professional.
Well, there's a lot of articles that are floating around specific to
Yes.
military. You know, like I saw
PTSD.
PTSD,
Any psychedelics, any
right.
earth boundaries help.
Canada's doing a lot
Psilocybin.
with psilocybin and researching
Yep.
all that stuff. Well, this shirt, the Combat Cocktail, Chase and I, who's a business partner of ours, we've gotten real involved in the passing of Senate Bill 711, which would legalize medical cannabis for use for 8 different diseases, and one of them is a disorder, is PTSD. And so we put this shirt together, the Combat Cocktail, because colloquially, did I say that right?
Yeah, that's good.
Colloquially.
Good job, babe.
Yeah, I was stressing about that. That was why my energy was so high. I was worried about saying that word correctly.
You got it.
But when you get out of the military, my experience was I went to see a psychiatrist. I was like, hey, I'm having trouble sleeping. I'm having trouble getting up. I left 15 minutes later with 2 scripts, one for trazodone and one for Adderall.
Yeah.
And then I know other guys they've layered in opiates on top of that too as well. So like we call that the Combat Cocktail. You come back home, you're dealing with some stuff. Here's your uppers, here's your downers.
And then
here's
everyone
your
washes them
opiates.
all down with booze.
And washes them
Not
all down
good.
with booze. And we want to ask ourselves, oh, we have the suicide problem. Well, duh. Like
Yeah.
we're medicating people with things and then leaving them out on an island. So we created this shirt as kind of our FU back to the status quo.
I love that.
Of like, no, we're not doing the Combat Cocktail. We're chilling. And so actually, if you buy this shirt, if somebody goes on our website and buys this shirt, a portion of the proceeds goes to VAHA, which is the Veterans Alliance for Holistic Alternatives. Just to send a nice message that we're not doing that anymore. And we want Senate Bill 711 obviously to get passed.
Yes.
And it's a big part of our work
Same.
because yes, we want to continue to explore those holistic options for people. And if psilocybin's next on the list, great. If licking a tree frog from Nicaragua can help, I would suppose that we would be pro that too.
You know how incredible that is? Even Mon wants to do that.
Lick the tree frog?
She wants to do the tree frog.
Hey, when are we going to do some ayahuasca?
I was
I'm not
just
gonna
going to
do
say
that.
that.
I'm not gonna do
That's
that.
our whole
I
nother
don't wanna
We
feel
spiritual
got
that.
10
journey.
minutes to talk about
I
it.
don't like
No, I have no
vomiting,
interest
so-
in ever
No,
trying that
sounds
type of
terrible.
therapy.
No?
No.
What is it? What does that do? Is it like peyote or something?
It's a whole purging system. You take it and you really want someone to be around you.
Okay.
They call them trip sitters. They're kind of like babysitters, but they're making
If
sure
trip
you're
is
not
any part of
being
it,
hated.
Does the
Leave me
person
out.
go by shaman? Like I am.
A lot of
hate it.
people
Really?
do. It's honestly suggested because
I'm your
they're going to
trip
be like,
sitter.
yeah.
My name is Ocean Air.
And they make sure that your intentions are good. I mean, with any psychedelics, I say start it off with a great intention. Go into it thinking you're going to have an amazing time. Just be positive. Think like a good thought, a happy memory, and start it off good.
My wife does some of that stuff, but with ketamine. She does guided therapy with ketamine, which I think we found out is a derivative of angel dust. They were making angel dust and trying to make that an anesthesia, and then
Special K?
voila,
Yeah,
Special
Special
K.
K.
But now they actually use it medically, and it's it's helping out a lot with guys and gals with TBIs and PTSD because it regrows those neural pathways. But yeah, I guess we'll have to study ayahuasca a little bit more and trip sitters and shamans and all that good stuff.
You can.
Can?
Or
I'll
you
just
don't
leave it
have
up to
to.
you. Yeah, or I don't have to. Well, let's get the cannabis thing through, and then we'll figure out.
Yeah.
And we'll lick toes.
One
Then
thing
we'll-
at a time.
We'll lick toes. I want to do like a Signal Fire retreat in some exotic country where we just go lick toads. So, is it Nicaragua? Did I get that right, or is
I
it a
couldn't
Costa
tell you.
Rican tree
It's
frog?
somewhere.
Josh
somewhere.
has it on the Googler.
You can synthesize exactly what the chemical agent is in the toad. It's essentially DMT, but you can synthesize it.
The spirit molecule.
The spirit molecule makes you one with
Not
nature.
to be confused with MDMA.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, everybody, that's
Steven's
Josh.
on the hook.
He's interning right now for our new producer position. He doesn't know that he got it, so. Hey, welcome to the team, Josh.
Yay!
All right, excellent. We're going to take a real quick break, and then we're going to come back and finish up. But before we do, you've got to look into our boy Garrett Harrell from Southern Cross Leadership Solutions, sponsor and friend of Signal Fire Radio. He will help you build better leaders who build better teams, who build better communities. Go to southerncrossleadershipsolutions.com. Request more info if you're trying to improve the performance of your team. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back on Signal Fire Radio.
My name is Ginny Morse, and I live in Cary, North Carolina. I was diagnosed in 1985 with multiple sclerosis. One of the things that happens to you is the neuropathy pain, and that is actually what happens is damage from MS. I had tried 4 or 5 drugs to alleviate these issues, and I had to take doses that were so high I couldn't get out of bed. So that's when I tried the medical cannabis and discovered that it stopped it. I will turn 69 in October of this year, and I have lived with MS for 36 years. I've had cancer, blood cancer, which is not curable and is progressive since 2017. So when public officials tell me that I need to wait, I need to be more patient, I need to be more understanding, I'm running out of time. Let's think about the people that aren't going to survive, that are going to continue to suffer in ways that could be alleviated by the passage of Senate Bill 711.
Welcome back to Signal Fire Radio, ladies and gentlemen. Ballyhoo shenanigans, all sorts of balderdash is happening
Yeehaws.
over here.
Hoop-de-hoos.
Yeehaws. Evan said he was coming for me today. I feel like I'm on watch.
Guns hot.
Guns hot. Listen, I'm going to give you a big hug. Big hug after this.
I like hugs.
Erica has helped me. I didn't hug you guys. I think that's a real part as to why I was aggro and angry.
Had to do the
I didn't give you guys a
oxytocin
hug.
release.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, we walked
Yeah.
into a barrage
You
of
did.
lead.
I'm sorry.
Rounds coming down range.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got to
Sometimes-
start it off with some love. So make that a part of
You
your
did say
routine
that.
often.
Can you
Wait,
please
can you sense
psychoanalyze
my
Rob?
inflammation anywhere?
I mean, I
It's
can.
in your head.
It's in your tongue. Believe that's
That-
meningitis.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That could be serious.
Yeah,
right? I might
touch
need
your
to get
chin to your
that
chest
checked.
for me. Yeah.
It's in my lower back. That's where I keep my inflammation, and up here in my brachial
Shoulders.
plexus.
Yeah.
So
A lot of
Wow,
people
she-
hold stress there.
She did sense my
know it.
inflammation
I
in
know
my
it.
shoulders. That's crazy. Evan, you said you had something you
Yeah,
wanted
what
to
you
ask
got?
her.
Yeah.
Send it.
Bring
Well,
it
I
on.
want to go back to when you were talking about like meditation and breath work.
Yeah.
I try my damnedest, but I have a busy brain, and it's hard for me sometimes to shut it down. And I do like visualization to where the thoughts are bubbles, and I just let them float away, or it's like they're wisps of smoke, and
Ooh,
they
I can
float
see
away.
that as you
But
explain
how do you coach people into like slowing down and just not like going into your nothing box and meditating for a minute or 5 minutes? How do you develop that in people?
I start off small. So first of all, I get that question all the time because we have so much going on, women specifically. We have over analytical brains where we're like, the highway is hot. So I like to say, start off small. So like maybe go into it for 2 minutes, just close your eyes. Start with the breath work. Every day, work on it. It's just like riding a bike. So you just do a little bit more every day and add on. To really quiet the mind, you just think of one positive thing. So for me, I love to explain closing your eyes and then imagining like a funnel coming from your mind. Like let's just say, for instance, a funnel from heaven is bringing you just peace. Just focus on one thought and work on that every single day, and the longer you'll be able to hold into the meditation. For me, it's a journey. Like I still get in my head sometimes and I forget to be in the space. So it's more about just stop thinking about the things and say, I'm gonna stay in the present today. I'm gonna stay in this present moment and focus right on just relaxing. And if that's really still hard for you, just focus on your breath. Don't think about anything except how your body is moving, how your diaphragm is lifting. Think about your heart, slowing the heart rate down.
Everything you're describing is 100% the process to doing what's called your breathe up when you free dive.
Yep.
So you lay on top of the water, you do your breathe up, you're spotting your buddy who's shooting fish. When your buddy comes back up, you've oxygenated, you've dropped your heart rate. And the way I explain it to people that are new to freediving is basically tell your mind that you're trying to go to sleep as you're laying on top of the water. And there's a very systematic approach to how you do it, but I am super in tune with...
I hope TK got it on the camera. I'm sure he did because he's a whiz. But your body language changed so dramatically when she was doing that, and then my body language changed so dramatically from your body language change. So whatever, that was
anything free diving tickles Matt's.
It does. But like Matt went from like I just like saw him like sink in all of a sudden. The funnel from heaven is a good visualization.
Yeah, that kind of hit me.
It's kind of like a beer bong, you know? It's like a funnel from heaven.
That's a little bit different energy.
Evan, do you really put thoughts in bubbles and then watch them? Like what it?
Yeah, that was a technique that I had read about, I think, and that visualization works for me. So I imagine it as like a wisp of smoke, and as it comes, I let it blow away.
Tell me how you do. Like what would a thought be?
Just anything that comes, you know, because I'll try to meditate in the morning or in the afternoon, like after a block of work, and it's impossible not to think about like what's coming next or what you have to do during that day. So instead of thinking about that, because I have the rest of the morning to think about that, I just let those thoughts come and then let them go. And like I used to be really bad about like
he's so much better.
I used
so
to be bad
mature,
about like getting mad at myself, like, oh, why can't I just focus on my breath, you know? But it's like when you just let the bubbles kind of float away or let the smoke just wisp away.
Dude, and I will say, when I started really getting to know who Evan is at the core, you independently made a decision years ago that I don't like who I am. Because you used to be like this angry.
Gonna take it.
Yeah, but
slick back hair, Evan.
In his early Army days, he was like this angry ball of fury.
Just as we all were.
Just
man.
the chippiest chip on my shoulder. Yeah.
But I mean, you took deliberate steps to change yourself, and now you just like emanate this aura of goodness.
I embrace the
wholesome,
but not bulbous,
lifestyle.
not a bulbous
not
aura.
a bulbous. No.
So
that actually really kind of segues me into the next thing I wanted to talk about, was that we talk a lot about like post-traumatic growth, and that how your traumas and your experiences do shape you, but you can use them to shape you positively. In your experience, do you think that we ever like recover from trauma? Like, do we get rid of it and leave it behind, or do we always hold it and just learn how to deal with it?
I think it can depend on both, and it depends on your narrative. So if you want to release that trauma, you can. But if you don't want to, you just don't take the steps and it holds on you. But I think no matter what the situation is, as long as you're taking that trauma and you're passing on that knowledge to someone else and explaining your experience for someone else, you're helping someone else go through it. So you are your story. And anytime you have that trauma and if you are willing to share, you're gonna be a light for someone else. So that's what I've done with my traumas. Anything that I thought that I was not ready to talk about, I realized, no, actually, there's someone that needs to hear that. So as much as it's my pain and my trauma, I know I can help someone through that. So that actually reminds me back to what you were saying.
I'm back on the hot seat again.
No, just what you're explaining, that person said, hey, your show has done so much work for me, and then you are feeling like pressure of I got to be perfect. Well, it doesn't have to be. Nothing is perfect in this life. We are humans. We are just an experience. But to know that as long as you're showing up every day, you're showing up for someone else.
Right.
You're giving your gift away so someone else can hear what they need to hear. I don't come in every day because I'm like, there's not every day I want to be like, I want to work today, right? But I'm like, no, it's not about me. It's about that person that needs to hear it or needs to hear the sweet words I've said. And that's what makes my impact. That's what makes me and motivates me, is because someone, even if it's one person or if it's a million, they needed to hear whatever I had to say. Mm-hmm. And it might not have been anybody, or it could have been somebody.
I got a lot to unpack. Mine, all that I think comes from me like feeling I always have to be on time. If I'm behind by like 4 or 5 minutes,
You're
I
late.
turn into a mess.
Yeah. Turn
into an absolute mess. It was because I didn't have the keys. If I had the keys and we were down here and I was, we're not going to relitigate.
Yeah,
all
you're
that.
going down a downward spiral.
Excuses.
Thank you, Erica. Thank you for your help.
Let's let that float away.
What? Yeah, I'm just going to put it in a bubble.
There you go.
Yeah,
It's fairy
release
dust.
it.
Fugazi, it's gone.
You're no longer in that moment, but anytime you talk about it, you're reliving that
Yeah,
past.
yeah.
So just stay in the present.
Well, let's 2 minutes before we just ask you about the elephants, and we have a little bit of fun to end the show. Is there a benefit to not holding on to trauma, but making it, not getting rid of it completely, making it a part of your story? Is there any benefit to that? Is it going to be different based on the individual?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, because it's who you are and how you see things. So it's all about your experience. So when you have the trauma and the pain, it changes every narrative, right? Every person has a completely different perspective because they've gone through a different culture, different background, a different trauma. Mm-hmm. It makes you who you are. So in a sense, like, your trauma is also the best part about you, because it helps you see you have to go through all of the pain to feel all of the beautiful things and understand. It's the balance that makes things
And
notion.
going back to Evan, I think Evan's a perfect example of that, because he had a pretty volatile and unkind upbringing, and I feel like that's formed how good of a father you are.
Had to crack some eggs to make this omelet.
No, but you're a great dad. You're a great dad.
He's an awesome dad.
And we
You guys
love
are
your
both
kids.
good dads,
An
too.
awesome dad. And
Awesome dads.
Eloise looks like a
God
mix
bless.
of Moana and Lilo.
She acts like a
Darn
mix
cute
of Moana
kid.
and Lilo. Yeah.
Darn cute kid.
And Stitch.
And Stitch.
All right, we're gonna hold hands and we're gonna do a drum circle after this.
Bring out the toads, Josh.
So last little bit, Erica. Last question. As I was getting ready for today, I was perusing your social media stalking you, and you post a lot about elephants, don't you?
I do.
What's with the elephant?
I just love them.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to sound kind of woo-woo, but they're like kind of like my spirit animal.
Okay.
They always just bring me immense joy when I see or think about them. They're very, very intelligent creatures. I like to, people be like, well, why do you like the elephant? And I always explain it's because of their wisdom. They are smart creatures. They've been around a long time. Their paths alone are based off of how they can feel the ground and the movement, and they find their paths home.
Yeah. And we had an elephant in the studio, right there.
Oh, you just lost a tusk.
Oh no, I lost a paper tusk. How did our little elephant, our little studio elephant, make you feel?
Oh, it lit me up as soon as I saw it.
Yeah.
It was like a happy piece.
Evan, if you had to pick a spirit animal for yourself, what would it be?
A gorilla.
Gorilla?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it?
It's
Matt,
the most
Yeah, I
powerful animal.
Why does that make sense?
It's just a part of my gift.
Yeah, well, he's wearing a shirt that says Ape Man, so it's almost like you telegraphed it.
It's
That's what I do,
subconsciously
yeah.
aware.
You can't plan this stuff.
Yeah. And I didn't pick my nickname, which you can't do, right?
Muscle
So,
hamster.
I
Yeah,
know,
I know.
which
You're
sucks.
you're not a hamster.
I'm not,
Obviously,
I'm
it wouldn't
not.
be your spirit animal.
No.
What about you, Matt?
If it was terrestrial, it would be.
What does that mean?
Well, I was
Like an
comparing
alien?
ocean and land. Monkey or like a bluefin tuna fish. I don't know.
I don't hate the bluefin tuna.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
the tuna.
Wicked tuna.
Wicked tuna.
Yeah, wicked.
I love it. Erica, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, they want to use your professional services, where should they go?
My phone number is 910-660-9125, or you can head to my website. It's ericastillman.com.
That is not an open invitation to text Erica about anything, right? That's
True.
for professional.
Yeah, if that happens,
Yes.
we will
only.
find you
You
and we will
blocked.
destroy
We'll have you blocked.
Yeah, we actually serve as like the gatekeeper because we have a lot of young ladies, professional ladies in our network, and they send us screenshots of the messages that some people send, and it's like, no,
Foul.
Yeah.
foul. Do not do
Unreal.
that. So we publicly shame them. So if that
We love
happens,
that.
you send it to us, and we will publicly shame them too as well. So, well, I hope you had fun.
I had a great time.
We
Thanks for
enjoyed having
me.
you, Matt, Evan. Anything you guys want to say?
I really love your voice. You have,
Yeah, I know.
You have a very soothing voice.
Oh, I was
Thank
thinking, you know that
you.
Calm app?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Oh,
You
for
should-
sure.
You should be
You could
like
narrate,
reading
yeah.
storybooks on the Calm app.
Yeah, I've used that.
Totally.
I'm actually reading a great book right now by Malcolm Gladwell, and he narrated it. I don't
got a
remember the
good
name of the
voice.
book. We'll put it in the show notes. I thought his voice was going to be way worse than what it was.
He's got a
but
great
he's got
voice.
a killer
yeah.
voice.
Canadian, Jamaican.
Yeah.
Just soothsayer.
Bomber
yeah.
Mafia. That's what it's called. It's called Bomber Mafia. It's
Never
really
even heard
good.
of it.
It's about a B-29 unit in World War II.
Oh.
I saw something shiny.
I saw something. Oh, jam.
Okay,
Let's
oh,
go.
yeah.
All right, Evan. Anything else to add before we go, bud?
No, thanks, Erica.
All right.
This was cool. Super cool. And you've given me some homework, I guess.
Good.
Yeah. And I love you two very much. I'm sorry for being a poop butt earlier this
I
week.
accept
poop
your
butt,
apology,
yeah.
Robert.
Also
See, and
accept.
doesn't it feel better when you release it?
It feels so much better. But I really want to get the hug in. All right, so that's going to do it for us here on this episode of Signal Fire Radio. Until next time, go out and strengthen your mind. No, I did it wrong already. Feed your mind, strengthen your body, enrich your spirit, and grow your tribe. And go be a Signal Fire in your community. We'll talk to you next week.
I just didn't want to feel any pain anymore. I mean, I'm literally like drunk, dug my own grave, and then like, who the heck's gonna bury me? You know, I'm gonna be in this grave and dead, and they're gonna find me. So that's not what I wanted. I just wanted to disappear and, you know, get by without having to be depressed. My name is Samuel Roberts. I'm a veteran, and I'm an advocate for medicinal cannabis. In my first semester of my second attempt at college, I was struggling quite a bit. One day, I'm in the Veteran Center at Cape Fear Community College, and I was having a bad day. And a Marine Corps veteran, walked up to me and he said, "Hey Sam, how you doing?" And just gave him the same line I always give everybody. "Oh, I'm fine. You know, what's up?" And he goes, "Well, you don't look fine." And we got to talking about it a little bit more, and he asked me, he goes, "Well, have you ever tried this?" And he was referring to medicinal cannabis. I had tried the meds, I had done the antidepressants, I had the therapy, I had gone to 2 hospitals, I was in behavioral health units, begging for help in all the legal ways. This was the only thing that I had to do which would break the rules, but could help me. Speaking from the veteran community, we're losing 22 veterans every day to suicide. We need every weapon, every tool at our disposal to stop this.